Are you a beginner player in Mechwarrior Online? Did you just start out with the game and are just overwhelmed by all the choices and different mechs and different weapon combinations and different subsystems and skills and whatnot that you can have in the game? Well, fear not, guys, because there is a salvation ahead. This is TTB speaking, and welcome to Mechwarrior Online. In this video, we're going to have a look at medium mechs, at the best medium mechs for beginner players, and I'm going to showcase both inner sphere mechs as well as clan options. Now, before we get into it, what are our beginner mech criteria? Once again, good amount of armor, one button weapon system, good to okay peaking profile, not too fast, no toggleable abilities, ECM if possible to keep us safe, good range, and good heat management. Okay, the mech that I think embodies most of these, not all of them though, is the Bushwacker X1. Now, the Bushwacker X1 has a nice peaking profile. You have to expose about, I would say, 40% of your mech in order to be able to shoot at targets. And with a build like this, 2 rotary AC5s and a light engine 270, you are quite safe. You've got nice armor on all the important components, 56 armor on the right torso, left torso, as well as 76 on the CT. And you've got this great Bushwacker profile, guys, where it's really hard to hit the center torso. Only this little part here is a CT. All of this is side torso. So by just wiggling your nose a little bit, you can easily deflect shots to each side of your torso. Rotary AC5s, because it's a nice build that allows you to stare down most targets and out-damage them at a good range of about 450 plus meters, depending on your skill tree. We've got plenty of ammo in there. Light engine 270 means that if we lose a side torso, we don't necessarily die, we just lose a lot of heat efficiency. The speed is 80 kph, which is quite nice, and the heat management, it says 1.17, but it's okay. Let's go ahead and have a quick look at the weapon system in the testing grounds. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to use Rack 5s, and that should give you all you need. The build, import code, as well as the skill build is all in the video description below in the paste bin. You just copy it there and then paste and import it into the game. Now, so we have 2 Rack 5s in this mech, so it is very simple. It's a one button mech, literally. You find your targets, and once you find your target, you just unleash on them with your double rotary AC5s. That is an awesome. That is a assault mech, and let's see what we can do to his center torso here. And he's dead before we overheated, and we even spread a little bit of damage to his side torso. So all okay. Our weapons are cooling down, our heat is cooling down, and at this point we would be ready to fire again. But do keep note of your heat scale, guys. You need to be looking at your heat gauge down there, down below, right bottom corner, the red thingy, and make sure that you don't overheat. You can overheat with Rack 5s, it can happen. My advice is to always let it cool down to about 30% heat before you start firing again, and keep a note on it, keep a watch on it, and you should be fine. This is Centurion, that's a fellow medium mech, and let's go for CT. Assume he doesn't move and just see how long it takes. Not that long to kill a medium mech, right? So very nice damage in this mech. Heat development is okay. One thing that you need to note about the rotary ACs is that they take a little bit of spin up time. So as you can notice, if I press the mouse button here, it takes about half a second to a second for this thing to start shooting, but that is okay. Once you get used to it, it's not a problem, and you can just hold down the mouse button. If you want to do something really neat, if you want to really bring a Dakar storm towards the enemy, you bind both weapons at the same time to mouse button 1, and you bind one of them to mouse button 2, and then you just press mouse button 2 for a little bit until it starts firing, and then, or you just press a little bit to speed it up a little bit, and then you press mouse button 1 and just hold mouse button 1. It looks something like that. So this is normal fire, and this is the chained up fire, which just staggers the shots a little bit more, it makes for a bigger Dakar sound and can freak out players a little bit more. Here we go. Notice the difference? It sounds a lot more creepy. It sounds like there's a lot more weapons in there that are actually in there. As I said, guys, if you're getting shot at, you can play this mech with arm lock off or on. Just make sure to note that the shots are all going to the big crosshair and not to the little circle. I would recommend to just play it with arm lock and not even worry about that. And as I said, if you get shot, you can just wiggle a little bit while you're moving back into cover, and that will spread the damage quite nicely. Very simple. Alright guys, let's have a quick look at the skill build for the Bushwacker X1 so you know what you're doing with this thing. In the firepower tree, we go for enhanced UAC and rack nodes 1 and 2 that will lower down the jam duration to 15% if you take both of these. We take magazine capacity 1 and 2, and then we take as many of the heat gen nodes as we can take. That will allow our weapons to be a lot cooler. A few of them on the side I'm not taking, but that's just for reasons of taking other skills that are more important. In the survival side, we build full armor, which is the left side of the tree, and a lot of the right side armor as well. Armor hardening 8 and armor hardening 3 over here, and taking a few of these skeletal density nodes on the way as well. We put nothing in mobility. That thing is mobile and fast enough. We don't have jump jets, so we don't have to take this. Operations, we take full operations tree for cool run and heat containment. This will make our mech dissipate heat faster and have a higher amount of heat scale so we can accumulate more heat before we shut down. Nothing in sensors, and double cool shot with cool shot cooldown in the auxiliary tree. That gives us 2 cool shots and either a UAV or an artillery or airstrike for the mech. And that is basically the build that you guys can follow. This should make this mech run relatively cool and should allow you to have a lot of face time with the enemy with all the survival nodes that we're taking. As you can see, yeah, we have nice 66 armor on the side torsos, 90 on the front. That will allow us to tank quite for a bit, so I hope you enjoy this build. Give it a try, it is pretty neat. Now, let's suppose you don't want to play the Bushwacker, or you might want to play a different weapon system. Which mech would we then recommend? Well, here's the thing, guys. There are several options available. There aren't really any really bad choices, but there are a few options that I feel are better for players that are just starting out. So, let's start with missiles first. And with the missiles, we will recommend a clan mech, actually. And that is the Arctic Wolf Prime. Let's go ahead and have a look at the build here. It's a 4 SRM6 brawler with ECM. Now the SRM6s have a range of about 270 meters. With skills 3 you can get this up to almost 300, which is a fairly close range weapon. But you have jump jets and you have the ECM to keep you very, very safe, hidden from the radar. And one thing that I found out that is most beneficial, in my opinion, to newer players is having a mech with ECM, because if the enemy doesn't see you on the radar, if the enemy doesn't see a big red Dorito above your head, there's a low chance they will start shooting you, or they will take a lot longer time to actually realize, hey, wait a second, that's an enemy. And the way that you can check this is the default button for that is Q. It brings up the names over all mechs, and if you don't see a name over the mech, well, it is either stealth armor on or it is an ECM mech that you cannot detect at this range, so it's safe to fire at that. The build, as I said, is very straightforward. We have 4 SRM6s in there, lots of ammo, and the clan ECM. You can use the Arctic Wolf A for that as a base and just switch out the prime left torso in there. Otherwise, you won't be able to have jump jets. So you can run this with the A alone, but if you do that, and let me show you this real quick, on the left torso, then you won't have jump jets. So that's not a trade-off I would take. If you don't want to have jump jets, you can take the Arctic Wolf P left torso and basically move 2 of your SRM launchers into the left torso and make them a little bit safer. Because the arms can break off quite easily. There's not as much armor in there. So basically the build would look like this. That's up to personal preference. I recommend you leave the build with the jump jets. It just gives you more freedom to maneuver. And guys, one very important thing about ECM mechs. Always get in the skill trees sensors first. You need to get down here enhanced ECM systems 1. And on the right side, enhanced ECM systems 2. Get these 2 skill nodes first. Before anything else, you need them for your ECM to be fully effective. Otherwise, targets can see you far away, and that's not what you want. You want to be as invisible as possible. So enhanced ECM 1 and 2 are a must-have, no discussion for ECM mechs. Don't forget that, or you will be sorry. You will be getting shot at, you will get missiles shooting in your face, and you will always ask yourself, where are they coming from? How can they see me? Well, most likely because you don't have these skill nodes active. Take them. Another build I want to show you with this mech, with the Arctic Wolf, is the Strick Wolf. Now, this is for people who aren't the best at aiming. have trouble aiming and would benefit from lock-on weapons. It's a little bit more advanced. It requires a very specific playstyle, which I'm going to get into in a second, but here is the build. We're choosing to not have jump jets here because jump jets will just lead towards us exposing too much. You can play this with jump jets, you just have to use the same configuration as we did on the other mech. This one uses 4 Strick 6s and Clan ECM. The difference is with this mech that we have to fire the weapons in a staggered approach if we want to use them at maximum heat efficiency, but you can alpha strike this no problem. And what you do is basically you unlock your arms, you use them to track targets, and then you shoot them with your Strick SRMs. The range with skill points can be up to easily up to 400 meters, which is really nice. And these missiles will seek their target and hit their target once they're locked on, and you can only fire them in a locked on state. There are some problems that you can run into with stealth mechs, with mechs that have ECM active, but overall speaking, this is a nice mech for people that are having a little bit of trouble aiming and are looking for something that can help them with that. And it's also very safe. Again, we've got ECM and we've got good speed with 105 kph. Just try to use streaks from long range, like use it at their max range of about 300 to 400 meters. Don't use it as a short range brawling weapon. That's really not as effective. So here's how you play the Strick Wolf, guys. You lock onto your target at maximum range. In this case, it's between 300 and 370 meters, and then you fire the torso weapons first, followed by the arm-mounted weapons, so 1 and 2. As you can see, beautiful heat, just 20% heat. If we alpha strike, then we will incur a little bit more heat, but it is not a problem. As I said, just marginally more. If you run into a problem with enemy mechs that have ECM, you will get low signal on your radar down below and you can't lock onto enemy targets anymore. What you then do is, that's a button that you can bind in the menu, or you can just use your cursor keys to scroll down to ECM, and you just press the right control key, and that will switch your ECM from disrupt to counter. At that point, you will be countering enemy ECM. Both ECMs will be countering each out, essentially. And it means that you will be able to lock onto that target that is countering you. And then you can shoot him and hopefully kill him. So that's the play to play the Arctic Wolf in the Strick configuration. Keep out of brawling range, guys. Keep your distance and make sure that you use your weapons in a staggered approach if it's a prolonged fight. Or if you want to have the extra burst, alpha strike. And the good thing is, this is a fire and forget weapon. Once this has locked on, you don't have to look at the enemy anymore. You just shoot and twist. It's gonna hit still. Alright guys, so much for the Arctic Wolf. Alright, last but not least, let's look at a inner sphere option for missiles. And that's one build I already showed on my channel. I chose the Kintaro 18 for that. MRM 40 in the right torso, MRM 10 in the CT, light engine 300, and lots of ammo, as well as 2 double heat sinks in the engine. 88.4 speed, 50 firepower, 1.98 heat management. Heat management is great on this mech, and armor is great on this mech. Front armor 85, and side torsos 63. Left side is meant for shielding completely. The only thing that you need to worry about with this mech is at the start of each match, you have to go ahead and open up your bay doors, because your MRM-10 launcher is hidden behind this bay door here. There's a button in the options. It's pretty easy to find. If you know where it is, you go to your settings, you go to keyboard, you scroll all the way down, and there it is, weapon door toggle. Make sure this button is bound and use it to open your weapon bay door at the beginning of the match. If you don't do that, these will fire in staggered shots. So this MRM-40 will fire instantly while you press the button, whereas this one will take a little bit of time to shoot. So it's recommended to always open the bay doors at the beginning of the match, and you will see that they're open by this little light here in the cockpit that will turn from red to green once they're open. Alrighty. Really good mech to use at longer ranges with the MRMs, but you might have to lead your targets a little bit. But the range is really nice, 550 meters plus whatever range skills you put in there. So you can actually make this work at quite a bit of range and have a nice, beautiful alpha strike that is very heat neutral. Now let's go ahead and look at Dakar mechs, guys. And there is a few options in there. Let's talk about Clan Dakar first. I would recommend the Hunchback 2C here. It has a very unique quirk that allows it to fire Clan Ultra AC-20s in dual mode at the same time without incurring any ghost heat. Ghost heat is when you have too many weapons of the same weapon type, but you will get a warning sign up here and it will tell you that it will have heat penalties if you fire them at the same time, and that is increasing quite drastically the more weapons of the same type you fire. So you can easily melt your mech if you overdo that. But this one has, let me just try and find it here. Down here, Ultra Autocannon 20 heat skill limit +1. So you can fire 2 of them at the same time. The build is very straightforward. 2 Clan UAC-20s, lots of ammo, 2 double heat sinks in the legs, and on Clan XL Engine 200. 40 firepower. With double tap, you get 80 firepower out of a 50-ton mech, 64.8 kph speed, and a heat management of 1.77. Now, guys, the way you play this mech is you play it very close to your assaults and heavies as part of a kill pack. Don't walk around alone. You're too slow and you can't sustain your fire very well. So walk with the assaults and assist them. Try to make yourself inconspicuous, because you're just a tiny hunchback to see. Yeah, nothing to worry about with this mech, right? Until they see your weapons, and then you will become a target, so be careful about that. The peaking profile of this mech is great. You have these high weapon mounts, you can use it easily to shoot at targets from over ridges. Let's go ahead and demonstrate that with our favorite target again, the awesome... let's say you're fighting this guy here, coming around the side, you see him, and he wants to trade with you. You can abuse, for example, this hill here. If you go like this, he can barely hit you. You can just fall back a little bit until you can see him, you can double tap him, and then fall back into cover again. And let's see how much damage the double tap does here. That was one double tap. His CT is open. Let's do another double tap on his CT.
Target destroyed.
And he's dead. See how much firepower that is? And you have a good range of that as well. You've almost got 400 meters for that optimal range. It is a really, really nice mech to play, but it is quite slow for a 50-tonner, so you have to stay with your assault mechs at all times. Not in front of them and not too far behind, with them. Very, very important. But the firepower is just out of this world. And if your UAC-20 doesn't jam, this guy is dead in 2 shots. So yeah, give that a try if Dakar sounds like something for you. Okay, now we've looked at a clan option for Dakar. We've already discussed one inner sphere option for Dakar, which was the Bushwacker X1, which I think is the safest approach to all of this. But there is also the Shadowhawk 2H that we need to talk about. And you can build him in several different ways. You can either build him with a triple Rack 2 configuration, but the problem is that requires an XL engine, and XL engines are a no-no for beginners. So we are going to build it a little bit differently. We are going to build it in this configuration right here. 2 AC5s, an AC2, lots of ammo, and a light engine 250. We got 73.6 kph speed, a firepower of 12, which seems very low, but this has a very high damage over time. And the heat management is just amazing. You don't need any cool shots or anything. Let's go to 2 testing rounds real quick and have a look at the firing profile. So here we are again on our favorite testing grounds, and guys, I always choose Caustic Valley for testing grounds because it's a very hot map and it allows you to see how your mech performs in hot conditions, which is very important. If you only test it on frozen maps, you don't get a good feel of how this mech will handle. So we got a range of 669 with this mech, in this case with the skill build, for the AC5, and 777 for the AC2, so we can be very far away from the enemy, which is great. And look at that peaking profile. All our weapons are in the left side torso, so if you're getting shot at, of course you want to shield to the left side with your arms, but you have an amazing peaking profile. You can shoot at targets where they have no chance at hitting you, or almost no chance, like this. I'm barely exposing any bit of my mech here, and I should be able to hit him from here. Yeah, see? And the weapons sync up quite nicely. You got about 2 shots of the AC2 for every shot of the AC5, and you just stay at longer ranges and provide supporting fire for the team. Very beautiful, very nice, and really good long-term Dakar. And you can really shake up enemies like that, because it's really hard to deal with getting constantly shelled, especially if it hits around the cockpit area. And it's just a relentless storm of bullets that never ever stops. This one does not stop shooting. Really nice build. Go ahead, guys, and give it a try. Great peaking profile. Use that and abuse it as always. The only thing it doesn't have is ECM, but you make use of your range and you make use of the ability to peek over hills, and you can almost negate that little problem. Okay, Last but not least, guys, let's talk about lasers. And for lasers, there is a very prominent type of play, guys, and that's called laser vomit, which means you bundle a lot of lasers together and you basically vomit that onto the enemy. And I'm going to show you 3 builds for that. One is the Hunchback 2C-A, so another Hunchback 2C, but this time not the Ducker variant. This time it's not the Hunchback 2C, it's the Hunchback 2C-A. This one uses energy weapons, and this is a build right off the GrimMechs list. It is very, very effective, but it's also very, very spicy, which means it's very, very hot to play, and you have to be good at aiming. But the firepower of this build combined with the speed is really, really nice. You've got 6 ER medium lasers and 2 ER large lasers, which means you can unleash all your firepower at ranges 400 meters and even a little bit higher. And your max range is at about 800 meters with the medium lasers, and the ER larges even reach further. So you can stay quite far back, expose yourself a little bit because you've got this great hunchback peeking profile. Yeah, you only have to expose about 40% of your mech to be able to shoot at targets, and you can dish out quite a bit of damage with that. You have a targeting computer in there, you've got jump jets if you want to get to higher spots or whatnot. It's just an overall really nice mech with a Clan XL 275 engine. Now, as I said, there is a small problem with this mech, and the small problem with this mech is it gets very hot. So it is a you shoot once, you reset, and then you shoot again kind of build, especially on hot maps. On not so hot maps, it's a little bit better manageable, but as you will see in a second right here, it gets spicy. So here's our target, Alpha. Let's get into optimal range here, which is, with this current skill build, as you can see down there, 450 meters. And then we're gonna give him an Alpha Strike to the CT, as we always do. Okay, so we're in range. And this is the Alpha Strike.
Heat level
it is quite the light show. It also gets quite hot. As you could see, it almost went up to 90%, but look at the damage. One shot opened up the CT of that awesome. I mean, he does only have stock armor. Real players will have a little bit more armor up front, but the damage alone is amazing. And if we do the second volley, and if I can hit it properly, TTB fails at aiming.
Heat level critical.
He's almost dead. And if you then have a secondary weapon group for your large lasers only, for example, you can just finish him like that. So it's a really nice mech, really, really good laser vomit build, really, really strong, but you gotta be careful with your heat. Let it cool down to about 10% at least before you shoot again, otherwise you will overheat yourself. Look at that Centurion. One Alpha Strike to the CT, he's almost dead. You followed up with the large lasers, and he's gone.
Heat level critical.
I hope you understand, like, the initial firepower of this mech, the initial hit is really big, but you pay for it with a lot of heat development. So aim carefully, aim for the big guys, make sure you got a good shot, unleash, and then you get back to cover. Maybe change your position a little bit until you have your heat down again, and then you find the target again and you shoot him again.
Heat level
Boom.
critical.
Very simple. Very nice build. Just watch your heat scale, guys. Just watch your heat scale. Alright, let's look at an Innosphere variant for this kind of build, and that would be the Hunchback 4P. And this one will be using a large laser in its right side torso, as well as 5 ER medium lasers, and a ER medium laser in its head. Light Engine 275, Innosphere Targeting Computer Mark 1, Alpha Strike, firepower of 39, so it's about 20 less than the Hunchback 2C. Speed is about the same, 89 kph, heat management 1.44. This thing you can Alpha Strike at least twice, not a problem. The right torso is nicely armored, 70 armor plus 37 structure, really nice, and your left side is basically your shielding side. If you want to play it like the pros do, then you have to remove a lot of left arm armor and put in another ER medium laser in here. That will increase your Alpha Strike damage by 5. But I recommend you just build it like that, because that is a little bit more forgiving on the heat side. And once again, we take this thing to Caustic Valley to just give you guys an idea of how this mech fires. Now, as I said, this is a Hunchback, and the Innosphere Hunchbacks all have their weapon system concentrated in the big hunch. If you see a Hunchback with a big hunch, always go for the big hunch. And if you are playing a Hunchback, always protect the big hunch. That is your big hunch over here, and that is where all your weapons are. Now, the good thing with the way that I built this mech is that you don't have to peek around the special side. You don't have to peek left side or right side. You can just see your target and you shoot it. Very simple. High weapon mounts and nice alpha damage. Ideal range of this is about 400 meters. As I said, the firepower is a little bit lower than the Hunchback 2C from before, but the heat management is just a lot better. Let's go in on that Centurion,
acquired.
pretend we are at ideal range, so pretend this is 400 meters, and we go for CT and shoot once. And the good thing is also the cooldown of those weapons is very similar.
Target
And twice. See? Very simple to use, very simple to use,
acquired.
good maneuverability, you can even unlock your arms if you want to, you don't have to, and you shoot, you twist away, you get into cover or whatnot, use the cover again, you're ready to shoot again, you go in, take your time, aim a little bit better than me, shoot, get back to cover. It's very simple, guys.
Target destroyed.
Right?
Heat level
As you can see, you can almost fire this 3 times with full alpha without overheating, so it's, I would say, more forgiving and a little bit more safe than the clan variant I showed you, but that should be the case generally speaking. The clan variants, broad generalization, will be able to do more damage, but will be able to take less damage. So, Hunchback, also a really good option. Now, last thing I want to show you guys is a team play oriented build, a team support build with the Crab 27. The Crab 27 is also a very safe mech, and we can actually build this one with a standard engine. Let's go ahead and have a look at the Crab. See, like crab people move like crabs and talk like people. There we go. Crab 27. Now, we put into this mech 5 medium pulse lasers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 in each arm, and then 1 in the head, and 1, 2 in the CT. Now, the beautiful thing about this Crab is you can run this with a standard engine 275, which means even if you lose both side torsos, you're still an effective mech because you still have 3 medium pulse lasers, and you can go zombie mode. If you lose both side torsos, that's called zombie mechs. So it takes a lot of time to kill you. You use your left side, for example, to tank and get that killed. Then you use your right side to tank and get that killed. And then you still have your 3 medium pulses and you still have your CT armor. We're running 2 AMS in each side torso, 1, plus 2 tons of ammo. And that will help you shoot down a lot of enemy missiles, be very, very helpful to the team. And it's just a nice mech to play. It's also nice and tanky. It doesn't have insane armor, but it has good structure. And crabs, generally speaking, are very survivable. If you're trying to take down a crab, guys, and this is a tip for all the crabs, always go for the legs, because the legs are one of the easiest to hit parts on a crab. Otherwise, the crab, the way the geometry of the crab works, it's really hard to focus out components. Try to go for left and right side torso, or just go directly for the legs. Okay, as you can see, it's also one of these like mechs that have a longer snout, and that makes it just easy to wiggle damage. As always, if somebody tries to hit you, you just go like this. You wiggle yourself a little bit and you will spread the damage all over your mech. I would recommend to keep arm lock on for this one so you can shoot a little bit easier. You just move around and you use your medium pulse lasers, right? Very simple mech. Very straightforward. You can pulse quite a bit before you start overheating. Your range is 250 meters, but you can reach enemy targets up to, I would say, 480-ish meters. So yeah, it's a good, nice mech. Very good for team play support. You can play this, for example, around the heavies or around the assaults and provide them with your AMS cover while amplifying damage on their targets. Very simple, very nice mech, and also very durable. Great addition to your mech base. Alright guys, and if you're not fed up yet, you're still watching, and if you're looking for my personal favorite, but beware, this one's a risk versus reward mech. It is still very safe, but it is a teeny bit risky. Then you go with the Space Captain. You go Griffin 2N Brawler build. Let's bring it up real quick. XL285 engine, so I would say not suitable for beginners, but then again, you have the ECM, you've got good speed, you've got great maneuverability, and that's why I would say if you're looking to learn brawling or learn missile brawling, either the Arctic Wolf, or if you want to go Inner Sphere, use this one. You will learn how to spread damage across side torsos, and you will be able to do great damage with the quad SRM6s. You have great jumping capabilities with the 5 jump jets, and the speed is great, 87 kph, 50 firepower, heat management is really good, and ammo is enough to last you quite a bit. This mech has done close to 1000 damage for me many times over, has won many matches, but Be careful and don't lose your side torsos. Alright guys, so much for all the great theory. As I said, you can always import the builds and the skill trees with these import buttons right here, or on the skill tree you go down to this side and click on import, copy and paste in the code from the paste bin, and you will have the build that you can follow. Let's go ahead, take the Bushwacker into a match and see how it performs. I'll see you there. Alrighty guys, here we are on the Grim Plexus and we're trying to find a good position from which to shell the enemy with our rotary AC5s, and I'm thinking to go into the Gulf 7, Gulf 8 area. We need to be careful here, the enemy team likes to rotate Gulf 7, Gulf 8, so if we see that coming we need to get the hell out of dodge. There's a champion up there, I didn't get to mark him unfortunately, but that's okay. I would like to peek here, but I know that if I do, I'm gonna get shot at by the enemy team big time, so I will choose to not do that. Instead, we'll follow up with the assaults and try and stay with them. For example, that Fafnir is a really good mech to support. Once he decides to go in at any point, we can go ahead and support him with our Daka and really make it very hard for his enemies to shoot at him, and that is a good thing to do. I think I saw an enemy over there already. I'm thinking to drop down my artillery strike right here. See some targets up front, we see some targets down, oh, Delta down below. Alright, let's try and see what we can do here. Not him, we're gonna go for this guy. Big target, give him a nice little amount of shots and fall back into cover because we know that there's some enemies up there. There was also a UV up there, I don't want to expose against that, and my team was not going in yet, they're still waiting for Christmas, maybe, I don't know. There's another UAV up. Let's see if we can get it down. Yep, using racks to shoot down UAVs. Like, it's my job. Team is a little bit skittish right now. The enemy team is pushing in hard on this side, and I would love to go in there, but I'm so scared of getting hit from the side here. Oh well, let's keep our nose down as fast as possible and go in on that enemy Warhawk. Give him a little bit peace of our mind, take him down, go to this side, suppress them a little bit. I'm just trying to suppress them, just trying to get them to go away. That Hellbringer is very steadfast, he's not going away. That's alright. Let's go ahead and move a little bit to the right side, try to get a shot on these guys over here. For example, Delta, our Warhammer from before. Give him a full salvo, drop a cool shot, stop our shooting for a sec, and have to wait now. Other targets are getting engaged by the enemy team, so which is good. We'll just hold this position right here. It's not a big reason for me to move right now, except maybe over here to once again go in on my friend Delta and then switch our target towards the Raven. Teammate takes him down, very nice. Eating an artillery strike here, but that is okay. I think it's time to go into their face here a little bit, go around the corner and say hi to that Hunchback to see. He's jumping around, won't be jumping for much longer, he's dead. Beautiful. 7 kills over 1. This is getting very stompy. Oh, there's the enemy team running around. Just targeting them so my team knows where they are. Going in on the enemy Medcat. And now we have to cool down, guys. We have to cool down. And while we're cooling down, we can move around the corner here. That was an enemy assault. He was taken out. I just want to make sure I'm not getting rotated on. So we're almost at half heat right now. We can engage again. There's the Medcat again. He's going around the corner. We're going to move to intercept, hopefully. Teammate is in the way, but that should not be a problem. Hopefully. Come on. Get out of my way, Slowpoke. Damn it, wanna shoot these guys? Arr! Oh, that's champion from the beginning of the match again. This Warhammer is driving me nuts. I hate it when people just stand in my way, even if they can't do anything for it. Come on. No! No! Chase him harder. Oh, there he is. Kill! Yes! Haha! Well, there you have it. This is how you play this mech, guys. A little bit of balls, a little bit of caution, using your weapon mounts to expose in a good way, not too crazy. As you can see, I always choose to fall back if it is getting too hot. 4 killing blows, 3 assists, 1 solo kill, 1 KPD, 429 damage done, which is a solid number. We got some good kills here. You can easily do about 800 to 1000 damage with this build if you get better ranges on the enemy and longer abilities to Daka on them, and if the match lasts a little bit longer. This was a little bit one-sided, but I think a good showcase of how to play this mech. Alrighty guys, we are here in our Griffin on a mining collective, and let's try and see what we can do with this bad boy, this time even with full weapon capabilities. That will help us to hopefully do more damage than the embarrassing last time, where basically after the match I realized, I was only shooting 3 SRM6s instead of 4 because of a, well, let's call it a faux pas with weapon selection. Holy hell, this guy is fast. Okay, be careful about that. Let's get up on top and try and affect the enemy in a negative way, and by negative way I mean shoot them in the face. and we shall do it from here. We'll take this spot here. It's gonna be a very aggressive move, but if the team takes top, we can do it. Take top, guys.
At 25%.
Drop the airstrike right here.
Airstrike activated.
Get around the corner, and here we are. Hello. Nobody here. All right. Let's take a different route here. Is the enemy team very slow or just very weird? Seismic Echo 5. Yeah, they're very weird and very slow. Take top, guys. Come on. Don't stand around there.
Affirmative.
There's nothing here yet. Come on. Let's see. Can we get a shot in, maybe? Yes, we can on the enemy Corsair. Now we jump up behind the cover. Get a shot in on the Atlas. Foxtrot Atlas is getting down. Come on. Give him another shot. Into the face and back to cover. And let's do the same thing again. Take out his side torso. Nope, we take out his CT. Very nice. Next target, Golf Corsair. There's an enemy UAV buff. Take it down, please. Hey guys in Delta 4, please get your asses up top. It's really hard that people seem to always need an extra invitation to get their asses up top here. Oh, that is a Strick Wolf Huntsman, and we're going right into his back. Nice shot, and back to cover. Enemy team is sitting on our base for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. We'll go in on this Atlas, give him a nice shot to the CT, and back to the, well, onto the CT again. I'm marked now, which is a little bit bad, but not a big deal. I will just have this LRM douchebag after me 24/7, but we will manage. We'll manage. So now let's go in and give him a piece of our mind. Missed the shot a little bit because we landed on our teammate, but he can't run very far. We can take him down very easily. Yeah, you can run, but you can't hide. Perfect. Now we can move towards the Delta 5 area and try and take down these guys. For example, that Viper and his buddy. Go around the corner, shoot the Viper, and miss it because he was very fast. Let's try this one again. There we go. That's better. Keep chasing him behind him. Oh, hello. That is unexpected. That's an unexpected bonus. It's a grasshopper with large lasers. Take away his side torso. No, we don't take it, but we might take it now, and we might take his life. Beautiful. Now we can go in on the Viper, give him a piece of our mind. His side torso is gone, which will make him a lot slower. And poof goes the weasel. No, it doesn't. Okay, well, not a problem. Now he goes poof. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. We've still got some guys sitting on the base. Guys, please don't be that person that sits on the base and is useless. Like, your team needs you in the fight. Don't just sit around on the base. Oh, hi there. A nice salvo in on the Jenner. Oh, he's doing dodging and jumping. Holy hell. He wants to go places. That's alright, you can go a lot of places. At some point I will find you and I will hit you. And yeah, he's dead. Oh, I almost hit him. Sad face. Let's try this one again, shall we? And one more will seal the deal. Hi. Bye. Too much dancing. But that was nice dance. That was nice dancing on part of that Jenner. It looked really nice. So, we have 2 targets left at this point. The good thing is we have enough jump juice to just get up here into the middle. And then now we can try and find the last guy. He's either on our base, or he might be AFK. Or he might be right behind me on a assault mech and kill me. Well, we'll see. We'll see if we can find him. I saw some large lasers shooting here. Oh, there's some fire going on. Maybe he's still over there. No. Somewhere else. But he's dead. Good. 334 missiles left. Let's go ahead, have a look at the scoreboard, see how we did. Unfortunately, our airstrike went into nothing, but it was important that we took the top here. We had 2 killing blows, 2 KMDs, 1 solo kill, 661 damage dealt, 3 components taken out. Good round, nice brawling mech that you can play quite aggressively. Just be careful not to take too much fire into your face. GG.